Marina Mabrey body checking Caitlin Clark to the ground. JC Sheldon all over her. Riding her. Pokes Caitlin Clark in the eye. Oh, man. Caitlin Clark needs to start wearing goggles, folks. Caitlin Clark's going to need to start wearing goggles. Bumps up on Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark says, "Get your hands off me." And then here comes Marina Mabrey. Boom! Exploding Caitlin Clark like a safety coming downhill in the NFL. There was no flop there. Marina Mabrey did a straight beeline.
What if I told you this was all part of some secret WNBA master plan, like a top-level takedown? 1 minute Caitlin Clark's dribbling, and the next, boom. She's down on the floor, like gravity decided to show off in slow motion. Was it a foul? Was it sabotage? Or was Marina maybe just pulling off some wild parkour move on the court? No matter what, Clark hit the floor hard, like a phone dropped from a tall building. And believe me, you're going to want to catch that replay, and hear the conspiracy theories that come with it.
You can't claw someone in the eye! Eject her! Eject both of them! Eject both of them! So there's nothing there, Nothing there. JC Sheldon claws her in the eye. Then, the two of them get into it, and then Mabrey just goes and shoves her onto the ground. Eject both of them!
There was nothing there, nothing, and then suddenly, it all went off the rails. Jay Sean swipes at Caitlin's eye, the two start jawing, and then Marina Mabrey takes it to another level. Out of nowhere, she straight up shoves Caitlin to the ground. Both players should have been ejected on the spot. So what do you get when you mix a rising WNBA star with a heavy dose of pure pettiness? You get Marina Mabrey charging at Caitlin Clark like it's the WWE. This wasn't a box out. It wasn't a screen. It was a full-on body check that would have made an NFL linebacker proud, and the refs? Don't worry, they were too busy tying their shoelaces and wondering which aisle sells integrity.
Start no shit, won't be no shit! Shout out to the Indiana Fever. I'm feeling good, folks. Welcome to WNBA Fight Night, or as some people are saying, WNBA Raw. What a game that was. We had it all. We had basketball, we had fighting, we had blonde on blonde crime. Oh, such an epic. Oh.
So now, apparently, you can body slam the most watched player in the country and just stroll off like you returned a library book. No ejection, barely a foul, maybe a little finger wag. That's it. In fact, it felt more like a pat on the back for being physical. Incredible.at this rate, maybe next game they'll hand out medals for who can hit Caitlin the hardest without getting called for it. Gold goes to Marina. Silver to the ref. And bronze? That's for the WNBA front office, because somehow, they're completely asleep at the wheel when it comes to protecting Caitlin Clark.
Damn, your teammate poked Caitlin in the eye. She poked her in the eye, but you want to come get mad when Caitlin's shoving her away? Come on, fam, what are you doing? Then you blindsiding Caitlin. That's crazy work. That's crazy. I'm surprised Marina Mabrey got away with that. I'm surprised she got away with that. I thought somebody was going to chin check her and talk to her.
Let's break this down to Caitlin Clark. The reason the WNBA is trending for the first time in over a decade is getting targeted yet again. And no, this isn't just tough defense. This is flat-out harassment. She's the only player in the league who seems to get fouled harder just for being on the court than for actually scoring. And Marina Mabrey drove that point home with a two-handed shove that would have earned a red card in a kid's soccer game.
All right, you guys, we need to talk. I just finished the Indiana Fever versus Connecticut Sun game. We were live on YouTube for all of you guys who are in the live watch party. Shout out to all of you. That was a wild one. That was so unexpected. We were in the first half. We were yawning. We were like, oh, this game is boring. It's not good basketball. Then all of a sudden...
Let's call it what it was, assault in sneakers, and the refs? Oh, bless their hearts. They saw the flying forearm, blinked twice, and somehow decided, she probably just tripped over a breeze. So Caitlin goes crashing to the floor like she's auditioning for Fast and Furious, courtside edition, and what happens? Nothing. No ejection. No flagrant foul. Not even a stern look. Meanwhile, Marina walks off cool as ever, like she just dropped off a pizza, calm, collected, and completely untouchable.
JC Sheldon scratched her in the eye. Like she literally, you can see it here. She's just clawed her. Like, what are we watching? She just clawed her in the eye. Like, how do you miss that as ref? Like, you cannot do anything other than eject somebody.
Why does the league think this is okay? Caitlin Clark is carrying the WNBA right now. The ratings, the headlines, the future sponsorships, even the league's hopes of becoming more than just a niche sport. And how is she being repaid? With cheap shots, floor burns, and silence from the people in charge, but thank goodness for Sophie Cunningham, the one person who showed real leadership when it mattered. While everyone else acted like Caitlin had personally offended them, Sophie stepped in like the big sister we all wish we had. She didn't throw punches or make a scene. She simply stood up, defended Caitlin, and said what anyone with working eyes already knew: Marina Mabrey should have been ejected, and the refs should have been held accountable too. Finally, someone had Caitlin's back. Meanwhile, Caitlin keeps getting shoved, slammed, stepped on, and scrutinized from every angle, all while the league watches like, she's still breathing? Okay, play on. Let's be honest, if the roles were reversed, if Caitlin had shoved Marina, there would have been a full-blown investigation at midcourt. News alerts, social media explosions, maybe even a congressional hearing. ESPN would be replaying it in slow motion with dramatic music and asking, has Caitlin Clark gone too far, while Marina clutches an ice pack and gazes off into the distance.
Son, Marina Mabrey, she got hot. She body checked CC to the ground a la Kennedy Carter. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, is anybody on this team going to stand up for Caitlin Clark? JC Sheldon grabbing Caitlin Clark all game, clawing at her. It's like tonight was a brawl, folks. Tonight was a brawl. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, is anybody on this team going to stand up for... And Sophie Cunningham.
But because it's Caitlin, suddenly it's called a learning moment or just physical play. Oh, sure, and I guess Santa's real and the Tooth Fairy handles payroll for the WNBA. Give me a break. Let's not pretend the league hasn't noticed what's going on, the constant hard fouls, the cold stares from other players, the passive-aggressive post-game comments that sound like they were pulled from a high school drama script. It's all saying the same thing, jealousy, plain and simple. Some players can't handle that Caitlin Clark didn't just join the WNBA, she exploded onto the scene. She brought the attention, the ticket sales, the media deals. She is the moment. And some can't stand that they weren't. So now, every game turns into their own personal, let's humble Caitlin campaign. Let's be clear, this isn't just basketball anymore. It's a turf war. And Caitlin Clark has become the WNBA's test case. Does the league want to grow, or tear down the very players who can take it to the next level? Caitlin's too good for this mess. She didn't spend her entire life working to reach the pros just to get tossed around like she's trying to cut in line at the DMV. She came to compete, to raise the game, to inspire. And instead, she's dodging elbows like she's in the Hunger Games, wondering whether the refs need glasses, or a backbone, and the WNBA commissioner? Nowhere to be seen. Probably drafting a tweet about player safety while watching Caitlin get knocked into next week. Because apparently, letting your biggest star get roughed up every other game is now considered part of the league's growth strategy.
Man, I'm here to tell you, F the WNBA, fix the fouls on CC, fix the ref. Mabrey is a classless B. It's all the way down. Let it be Angel Reese and there be an investigation. Joke of a company. The WNBA looks...
Here's a wild idea. Protect your stars. LeBron gets calls for blinking too fast. Tom Brady drew flags if someone looked at him the wrong way. But Caitlin Clark? She could get drop-kicked mid-crossover and the refs would just shrug, let them play. And let's be honest, the officiating hasn't just been bad for Caitlin. This entire season has been full of missed calls, strange decisions, and refs who act like they got their training off Craigslist. But when it comes to Caitlin, it's like they've turned up the difficulty setting. Suddenly, obvious fouls are incidental contact, and full-on shoves are just scrappy play. Scrappy? She got launched into next week. That's not scrappy, that's a tactical hit. At this point, Caitlin might be better off packing her bags and heading overseas. In Europe, they'd actually appreciate her talent. They'd roll out the red carpet, give her major endorsements, and maybe, just maybe, keep her from being treated like a human crash test dummy. And when the WNBA's ratings start sliding again, don't act surprised. Without Caitlin Clark, the league would still be in the shadows. She's not just playing, she's lifting the brand, carrying the future, and what does she get in return? Flying elbows. Intentional fouls. Cold stares from players who act like she stole their spotlight, and let's not forget the media spin. She needs to toughen up. Oh, of course. Because being thrown to the floor twice a night builds character, right? Maybe next time Marina can hit her with a folding chair, and we'll just call it emotional growth.
So as you guys can see here, JC Sheldon is guarding Caitlin Clark. She swipes her in the eyeball. Caitlin Clark nudges her off because JC stays in her face. And then Tina Charles runs over and is kind of wagging her finger in Caitlin Clark's face. And then Marina Mabrey comes out of nowhere and chucks her to the floor. Now let's watch this in slow motion. Here, JC Sheldon is guarding Caitlin, swipes her in the face. There's one. Going for the ball, swipes her in the eyeball. Caitlin's gonna have to start wearing goggles. And then Caitlin pushes her off of her. Like, why are you still in my face? Marina Mabrey, bad out of hell, chucks Caitlin Clark to...
The hypocrisy is hard to ignore. The league wants everything Caitlin Clark brings. Her image, her fans, her media buzz, her sponsorship power, but not her safety. Not her well-being. They'll promote her highlights all day, but when she gets leveled by someone's forearm and hits the floor hard, they look the other way at this point. They might as well put a bullseye on her jersey and hand out bonus points for drawing blood. And let's talk about the fans, especially the ones booing her like she owes them something. She doesn't. Caitlin Clark doesn't owe anyone silence, humility, or taking cheap shots just to make people feel better about their dusty jersey sales. She's here to win. And she's doing it under pressure, with more scrutiny and more physical abuse than any player should have to deal with. But still, she shows up. Still hits threes from near half court. Still plays with poise while getting dragged to the floor like she's in Fight Club. And when she gets knocked down, she gets back up, dusts herself off, and throws laser passes like she's got a PhD in precision. And the wildest part? She never complains. While the talking heads stumble through their narratives, Caitlin stays focused, calm in the chaos, the one true professional in a storm of passive-aggressive nonsense. But maybe it's time more people speak up. Because if the league won't protect her, then the fans have to. Sophie Cunningham shouldn't be the only one with a backbone. And if the league can't see what they've got in Caitlin Clark, maybe, just maybe, they don't deserve her.
Physical.
Displaced it? I think it is.
Foul. Oh. Yo, get out of here. Get out of here. Cheap shot.
Look at Mabrey. She's got a
Just tackled her. Toss her.
Oh, get out of here. Don't act tough. It's a punk move. That's a foul. A claw to the face. The total, look. Claw to the face. That's not the concern, really. Why is she jawing her after she clawed her? And then that's just like a cheap, I mean, that's just like a dirty play. I mean, you're a dirty player, plain and simple. Dirty play.
So go ahead, WNBA. Keep pretending it's all fair and balanced while your biggest star gets hip-checked into another time zone. Keep claiming the refs are just doing their jobs while they officiate like it's pin the foul on the donkey. Keep brushing off moments like Marina Mabrey's blatant shove as just competitive spirit, while fans across the country replay the footage in disbelief but don't act surprised when Caitlin Clark eventually says she's had enough, because one day, she might pack her bags, head overseas, and play in a league that actually values her, not just for the spotlight she brings, but for the talent she's earned. And when that day comes, don't cry. Don't post sad emojis. Don't churn out think pieces wondering what went wrong. We'll tell you what went wrong. You failed her. Sophie Cunningham didn't. She stood up. She showed integrity when no one else would. So hats off to Sophie, the real MVP of basic decency. Meanwhile, the rest of you can keep playing dodgeball with your dignity. And Marina? Hope that shove was worth it. Just remember, karma doesn't need a whistle to stop the play. Honestly, it would be funny if it weren't so embarrassing. The WNBA has stumbled into the biggest marketing gift it's ever received, a generational talent who's brought national attention, packed arenas, and record jersey sales. And instead of protecting and celebrating her, the league's treating her like the last pick in gym class. It's like winning the lottery and then setting the ticket on fire because someone's ego got bruised. Caitlin Clark has brought legitimacy, viewership, and real money to a league that's been craving all three. And instead of giving her room to thrive, the system is treating her like she's a problem to manage. Every game has turned into a proving ground, not just of skill, but of how much she can endure. It's not competition anymore. It's hostility, and for what? For being too good? For outshining the old guard? For rising too fast? Maybe it's time the WNBA asked itself a harder question. Do we want to grow, or punish the players who make growth possible?
Caitlin actually shoots it in Sheldon's eye. give her some good wording. I don't know if she said, you like that or what. I don't know what she said. But coming at Sheldon on a big one, like, yeah, take some of that. Take some of that. Honestly, man, this is the rivalry that people might need to be talking about right here, man. Third quarter, they're up 20. Indiana Fever up 20 at this point.